So we will start Facebook Live in 1 minute. So Excellency and staff, please mute your microphone first during the start of our event. We are on Facebook Live now. So first of all, I would like to good afternoon again, Excellency, Honorable Speaker, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Warmly welcome to our 12th panel discussion of AVI-SDG dialogues. So my name is Kim Liang, a junior researcher for Center for Sustainable Development Study of Asian Region Institute. And this is my great pleasure to be a moderator for today's program. And our AVI-SDG dialogue today have brought the 12 topics of our webinar series on partnership for sustainable development on the floor discussion. And we would like to acknowledge what are the progress challenge in achieving the goals 17 of SDG. What are the key interventions being implemented to support for the partnership for sustainable development of the goal next, and what are the proposed short-term and long-term intervention to support the partnership for post-COVID recovery, and what are the roles that multi-stakeholder and the public play to support the process. So in this meantime, we are honored to have our permanent leader who are researcher in our diverse development field, who will deliver their valuable comment in our program today. So before starting our program, I would like to introduce our honorable speaker. First, please allow me to introduce His Excellency Dr. Wan Munenius, the Director General of the Policy and Strategy from Ministry of Environment. Doctor is in charge of leading the development in integration and moderating the implementation of the strategy related to the environment protection, natural resource management, biodiversity conservation, and sustainable development in Cambodia. Dr. Wan obtained his doctoral degree in environment management from the Bristol University, and Master Science in General Maritime Administration and Environment Protection from the World Maritime University, Sweden, and the Bachelor degree in Engineering from the Royal University of Agriculture in Cambodia. So second, please allow me to give a warmly welcome to our honorable speaker, Mr. Anwar Dofros, the director of AFD in Cambodia. So Mr. Anwar is a deputy director of AFD country officer in Phnom Penh and Cambodia since August 2021. And he first worked for the Friend Primary Star Office and Friend NGO Solidarity SIDA and integrated AFD in 2011 as a deputy head of the communication and then as a project manager in rural development and biodiversity. Mr. Yours graduated in 2001 in law study, master both in France and Australia. So, Excellency, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, to follow our agenda today, we will start our captivating program with the first agenda, the role of AFD for partnership and sustainable development, process, challenge, and recommendation, which will convey the speech by Mr. Anwar Dofors, and the second on the role of government in sustainable for partnership for sustainable development, progress, challenge, and recommendation, which the speech will be delivered by His Excellency Dr. Van Moninit. And for the last agenda, we will have a Q&A section, and then the photo groups at the end of our webinar. So to begin our program, please allow me to invite our honorable speaker from AFD, Mr. Anwar, to deliver his remarks. So, Mr. Please, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Chumripso. I'm very happy to be here. Very happy to participate. I just want, first of all, to apologize because I have an obligation in a little bit more than half an hour, and I will have to leave you after my remarks. But I see that the session is recorded, so I can catch up later, and I will watch the rest with great interest and to watch a presentation of His Excellency Dr. Van Moninit. That I salute, and that I haven't met yet, but I hope we will meet very soon. Okay, I don't know if you have my presentation. Can I share my screen? Okay, I share that. I don't know if it's a good one. What do I share? Is it okay? Do you see anything? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yes, it's good.
Okay, great. I just want to present a little bit of AFD because I think a lot of people don't know really what we do in the world and what we do in Cambodia. And along the way, I will try to demonstrate that ODD 17 is very important and that we can foster partnerships in development partners such as AFD, and that we are already working with partnerships, and I think we can do more. As you may know, AFD is the oldest ODA provider. We have been celebrating our 80th birthday last year, and we'll be celebrating our 30th birthday in Cambodia next year. Our group is an actor which works on international development institution scene, and we matter on this scene. We have capacity to provide services in the form of grants, loans, and venture capital for the public and private sector. And we are extending this year our service with the integration of Expertise France, which is the main expertise providing of our country. It's a kind of equivalent of GIZ. So AFD would be like a big GIZ plus KfW plus some other things. What is important is that AFD is having leadership in the international development finance, meaning that we are chairing the International Development Finance Club, IDFC, which is gathering most of the bilateral and regional development banks, other than multilaterals like World Bank or ADB. In this respect, we had a key role in the organization, for example, of the Finance in Common Summit, which took place in Paris in November 2020, and gathered for the first time most of the public development banks of the world. More than 400 of them were attending. And all the partners of the finance of development, including private sector. This was an important session, and second one was held in November in Italy last year, and one for Asia, especially for Asia, which gathered public development banks from all over Asia, that took place in India just before the Euro-Indo-Pacific Ministers meeting that took place in February. Our group is also part of the Team Europe, and you know how much we are involved in strategic programming discussion with EU in the mobilization of European grants to optimize development impact of our projects. I will come back on that later. So you see some figures like last year, EFD was around 12 billion euros of commitments around the world. And I tell you about Cambodia later. So AFD Group strategy, we are going to adopt a new strategy in 2023. It's overall strategy. But the last strategy, which is still ongoing, has a vision of the world in common with 5 commitments, very strong commitments. Our agency is 100% Paris Agreement. All our projects are compliant with low carbon national strategies and foster climate change. We are 100% social link because fighting climate change has no point without fighting social inequalities. So we reinforce social link between the populations and the territories in our projects, like gender or poor-oriented projects. We have a 3D development thinking. I won't elaborate on that because it's about defense, diplomacy, and development, how to make them work together. We have a priority on non-sovereign because we think that all private sector, but also public sector, can indebt themselves without the guarantee of their government, and we think that it's a great solution to achieve SDGs. And partnerships, so it's very related of what we're talking about today, because we mobilize the resources, we coordinate with other DPs. That's just what I told you with IDFC just before. To improve the efficiency and our impact on day-to-day basis. So new strategy group to be adopted. It's too soon to say what will be in it because we're still working on it. But I can say that it fosters SDGs more than the one before, and it relates to SDGs as well. It's exactly the same with IDFC Club. The IDFC Club was created to fight climate change and to mainstream climate change into the projects of the development bank. Now we are going a step further, and we are going to foster all the SDGs in the projects of development banks. So development banks are, it represents thousands of billions of dollars of investment every year. So it's a very strong leverage to change things and to finance projects that have that are fulfilling SDGs. Okay, so in Cambodia, more especially, EFD has a strong commitment, an old commitment we established in 30 years ago, in 1993. And we started with grants. Then we had the right to do non-sovereign loans, and in 2012, sovereign loans. So you see that our activity has increased since the last 5 years tremendously, and we are reaching average of 100 million euros every year of commitment in Cambodia. Last year was a small year, but we have a bigger one this year, and yeah, that's an average. As you see, we don't have that many grants because France decided to concentrate grants to an Africa continent. So we have less grants for Asia, but our loans are very concessional, meaning that there is a big grant element in our loans. Around 60% are grant elements in our loans. You must know that in Cambodia, the average for DPs is 50%. So we are above the average for the grant elements in our loans. So we also, you see on the right hand side, we also support private sector with our subsidiary Proparco, which has strong commitments, as you can see, and especially in financial sector. And last but not least, we support strongly CSOs, civil society organization. So it's also related with SDG 17. We have 21 ongoing projects, 5 directly in Cambodia and 16 in other countries. Okay, so you see that in Cambodia, our first sector is water and sanitation. Second is agriculture, then energy, TVET, meaning training, vocational training for young people, and other health, urban planning, culture, and so on. Okay, just a little focus on climate change. I said that we have 100% aligned on Paris Agreement, so this is an illustration. We promote low carbon resilient solutions and projects, meaning fight against deforestation, land use, energy efficiency, promoting agroecology, the water management, and everything, and so on. And 75% of our financing are earmarked climate co-benefits, and it's measurable. It's not just a motto. We measure it, and we're committed to it. So it's a constraint, but it's also an advantage because today we cannot imagine investment without taking into account very strongly the climate consequences. So you see that we are almost at 100% last year of climate compliance, and it's a very good result for us. Okay, so as I said, partnerships are a priority. It's really a priority for us, and 60% of our portfolio here is done in partnerships with other donors. So we are not just a DP. We see us as a development platform, embedding SDG 17 very strongly. So we are a key player among development finance institutions worldwide, and we have a responsibility in that extent. This strategic already benefits to the royal government of Cambodia, and we are committed to pursue it. So we cannot have any projects here without thinking about other development partners and co-working with others. So we can maximize leverage effects, generating more impacts, fostering new ideas, discussing with our colleagues from ADB, for example, or EU, that have different perspectives that are very interesting for the projects we finance. So as you can see, to date, 60% of finance projects under implementation in Cambodia are implemented through co-financing. The first partner is ADB, and the second partner is EU. Both are very important. And you can see that we also work with the European Investment Bank and the KfW. So for EU, solely, it's almost 50 million euros grants delegated to AFD, for example. But it's going to be less in the next few years. So we are thinking about new actors, and just after I'm going to visit Switzerland, that is having an event at the factory, and Swiss cooperation is very active here. You have Czech Republic as well, the World Bank, and other non-conventional donors like foundation, and we are thinking about how to make people like rich Cambodian people maybe involved in a development project as we design them. So we have maybe a lot of even innovative things to think about that, innovation to think. Okay, so just a few words about AFD new country strategy. We are going to elaborate a new strategy for 2022-2026. So it has to be finalized, has to be finalized with a lot of consultation, and we will try to answer the Cambodian priorities and challenges like post-COVID recovery, but we can also add Ukraine war consequences that have consequences on energy, that has consequences on agriculture, and so on. Cost of everything, and new national strategies and policy like digital, but also the low carbon strategy of Cambodia. Cambodia was one of the first countries in the world to complete its low carbon strategy, and it's a very good achievement. So we are going to accompany that. And all the energy efficiency, the work that we are doing with EDC to develop renewable energy, but also energy efficiency for the network, for example. So yes, we are committed to new partnerships. So at a glance, you see all the SDGs that we are fostering. This is a strategy that is very embedded into the SDGs, and this is as of today, so it might change. I wanted to show you this image just to show you that we are embedding a lot of SDGs in our strategy, and of course. SDG 17 is cross-cutting for us, and we cannot do alone. We have a motto that is famous around the world, is that alone you go faster, but with other people you go longer, so you go further, and we prefer to go further on that. And to work with all the goodwill, and I also want to mention the think tanks such as AVI, which are very important to take a step back on what we're doing and to elaborate more strategy and more to think about what we're doing, and and development. So thank you again for inviting me, Akun Chran, and I'm very curious to hear about what other have to say. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Emir, for your nice presentation. And for our next agenda, I would like to invite His Excellency 1 minute to convey his remarks. So please, Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Khun Dien, and good afternoon, everyone. It is a great pleasure for me to join you this AVI-SDG dialogue on partnership for sustainable development here in Cambodia. On behalf of Ministry Environment, I would like also to express my sincere appreciations to AVI for making this dialogue. Thanks to full peace and political stability, as well as the political leadership with clear vision, supported by law, policy, plan, and strategies, Cambodia has unprecedented opportunity to develop national, socio-economic, and join the community of nations to solve the challenges facing the world. With the steady economic growth of over 7% per annual during the past 2 decades, Cambodia has transformed itself from low-income country to the lower middle-income country. This is a great achievement that allows Cambodia to set the new ambitions of becoming the upper middle-income country by 2030 and a high-income country by 2050. More importantly, this constitute determinant for securing environment protection and conservation of nature. We also allow Cambodia to partake on equal footing with the international community in addressing global environment issues by joining visually all relevant conventions, agreements, and also protocols. With regard to the progress and challenges for our subject today, a partnership for sustainable development, the Royal Government of Cambodia has achieved substantial success in strengthening partnership with development partners through continuous improvement and implementation of key policy and mechanisms, especially preparing and implementation of development cooperation and partnership strategy 2014-2018 and its successors for the period 2019 and 2023. Cambodia has been relatively successful so far in increasing the level of resources available for the sustainable development by maintaining strong partnership with development partners, with ODA increasing by about 50% in the past 5 years and reaching $1.9 billion in 2020s. However, the major trend is that grant has been stable or slightly diminishing, while loans has increased significantly. This means the cost of development financing is increasing. Cambodia's international trade statistics also show the continuous growth. In terms of challenges, we need to prepare for the new phase of Cambodia's development when the country graduates from LDC status and will need to access new type of financing and also face higher trade competition. Also, it should be noted that the international community is still not fully delivering on their commitments towards developing countries, both for ODA, which should be 0.7% of GDP of OECD countries, and for the climate finance, it should be $1 billion per year. And of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has been impacted our resources in the last 2 years, both domestic resources also and international investments. We need to start positive economic trend that we need before the pandemic, and reopen of the country should allow us to do that. Actually, with regard to the key intervention to the goal of 14 amid COVID pandemic, the government has invested massively to support the most vulnerable, for example, through cash transfer to the poor. In addition to the health response to the COVID, including vaccination, several fiscal measures has also been taken to support the businesses during this difficult period. Many of our international partners has relocated resources to support our COVID response as well. I also would like to say about the short-term intervention and long-term strategy for supporting partnership for sustainable development for the post-COVID-19 recovery. The COVID-19 economic recovery plan issued by Ministry of Economic and Finance clearly presents the strategy to be adopted in the short and medium term. The plan includes 2 chapters on a resilient economy and on green economy, which will be the key for achievement of the SDG. These 2 issues are also important for the long term. We must build economy that is more resilient to shock, including economy shock, geopolitical shock, health-related shock like a pandemic or climate shock. We also have to position Cambodia to benefit from investments in the green economy as well. So for our role with the multi-stakeholder public play to support in the process of partnership for the sustainable development, Cambodia recognizes the importance of multi-stakeholders partnerships in mobilizing and sharing knowledge, expertise, technologies, financial resources, which are good for complementing the efforts of developing countries, like Cambodia achieve sustainable development goals. To build resilient and green economy, both public and private sector has crucial role to play. For example, our long-term strategy for carbon neutrality, we estimate that 2/3 of the investment will have to come from the private sector, and 1/3 from the public sectors. So it's good partnership with the private sector and also good framework for high quality investors are essential. The general public also has a big role to play through their behaviors and expectations are consumers. They can create demand for more sustainable products as well as participate in the environmental friendly activity. So to my conclude, the government is fully committed to continue working in partnership to secure successful implementation of its policy agendas. we still continue strengthening inclusive partnership with all development actors to mobilize financial resources for Cambodia SDGs implementation in according with established development effectiveness principle, including ownership, leadership, and alignment. We will continue actively participating in both regional and global affairs to enable opportunity for the development, especially to promote the representation of peace, security, and investment opportunity in Cambodia. So that end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, His Excellency, for your insightful presentation. So for the next of our agenda, we will open for the Q&A section. And as Mr. Anwar have an urgent task, he would like to leave first, and I would like to select some questions for His Excellency. So, His Excellency, I would like to ask, what are the challenges that Cambodian government are facing toward to achieving the goal 17 of partnership for sustainable development?
Yeah, I already mentioned about the term of challenges. We need to prepare the new phase of Cambodia development. When the country graduates from LDC status, and will need to access new type of financing and also face higher trade competition. So and other thing that I already make a note, the international community is still not fully delivering on their commitment towards developing countries, both ODA, which should be, and also the 0.7% of GDP of OECD countries, and also the climate change finance, which should be, they commit to have the 100 billion per year, but it's still not there. So, of course, I think also the important challenges in this partnership, also the COVID-19 pandemic, they have also, impacts to our resources last 2 years, cost both external and local domestic resources. So we need to, start how the positive economic trend, and we need to have before the pandemic and reopen the country. We can allow the country to do that also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, His Excellency, for your response. I would like to have other question. So the next question is, what are the mechanisms for the government to sustain the long-term partnership with the national and international organization or international level?
For the thank you for the question. I think that as you already may know, the COVID-19 economic recovery plan, they already issued by the Ministry of Economic and Finance, and clearly, provide the strategy for short term and also the medium term. And these two short and medium term indicate very clearly about resilient the economy and green economy. So we hope that these two issues are also important for the long term. So that's why I already mentioned that we need or we must to build economy that is more resilient, more resilient. And we have, the position Cambodia to benefit from the investment in the green economy as well. So that our, short or long-term interventions to our country.
Thank you so much for the answer. And for I think the last question is like, what are the contribute of the NGO or like private sector to develop the to help for Cambodia development of the partnership for sustainable development in Cambodia?
Yeah, thanks again. I think I gave you an example. We already launching our long-term strategy for carbon neutralities. And if we look in detail to this, the strategy, we can see that the 2/3 of the investment is from private sectors. Private sector, I think it's the one, but for me, private sector or other, NGO, other international organization, yeah, including also from the universities that also into this aspect as well. And we also, not the private sector or other organizations to implement or take part for the implementation of the long-term strategy, but the private sector, the public sectors are also really important to join with how the public sector can be the one to have the opportunity like the investment into this strategy as well. So it very big role, both sides. As I said, just both sides, private sector, we include other stakeholders also involved with that, and then the public sector, which is also important. How can we create demand for more sustainable products, and as well as participate in environmental friendly activities? So that the one example, but we have other many examples to give you, but I just give. This is recently, very recently to launching the long-term strategy for carbon neutrality. So for Cambodia, so this is the one that we think that is more important, that we already submitted to Secretariat to UNSCC, and yeah, now as the PFD, the already present just a moment to show clear how to make the low carbon strategy for Cambodia. So this is maybe is a part of how we can take a part of this long-term strategy, because this is the long-term strategy for the 2050. So I can see the new country strategy for PFD. They already mentioned about 2022 and 2026. So it is a period into our implement our part of the long-term strategy for carbon neutrality. So that I expected that they can refer or reference to what we have been already launching with this strategy.
Thank you so much, His Excellency. I think the question and the answer already clear all the what we want to know. And for last of our agenda, I would like to ask if you have any comment or recommendation would like to say to the final remarks.
No, we would like to call for action. You know, now we have on our papers, but we look forward to more close cooperation, both private and also the publics and other stakeholders to take part. This strategy to be a realities to implement on the ground that can be make more reliable how the transforming or translation integration from the actions to the realities implementation. You know? So this is the one that I would like to call all over investor or actors or other stakeholders, please to take a part for the implementation of these strategies. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your nice comment on our agenda. So I would like to ask His Excellency for a group photo.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I would count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much, His Excellency, for your
Yeah.
cooperation.
Yeah.
Excellency, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will listen to our valuable and insightful comment from our speaker. So our agenda would like to closing our program now. And to end our program, please allow me to express my gratitude to His Excellency for spending your valuable time with us today, and also the audience who are follow our program to the end. So, Excellency, stay safe from COVID-19, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
Goodbye, His Excellency.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.